You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie 'em to the ground. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at. They turn it back around. You can't stop me.
Well, good evening and welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. Oh, it has been 2 fucking weeks of Hades.
Yes, and so he's Aeson Knight. Well, he's Aeson Knight.
Yep, I'm Aeson Knight. Of course, we got Techie Joe in the corner.
There we go. No one but baby in a corner.
Well, honey, your office is in a corner. You even created another corner.
Hey.
They have already commented on me about having having you in a corner because the file cabinet wondered if it was security for your cube experience to keep you comfortable.
What?
With the file cabinet beside you and the other frame of your desk and the other frame of your desk, you technically make yourself a cube.
I did, basically, yes. Like, God help me if I fall backwards. I'm getting brained to death on the filing cabinet.
True.
Like, oh, anywho, let's hope that doesn't happen.
Well, that's why
Hey, Brenda.
Here. Hi, Brenda. Hello. How are you?
Like, you're very fatalistic today.
I'm trying to control my hood self.
Oh, yeah. Well, great. Oh.
Hello, Tracy. How are you?
Tracy! But yeah. It has been a wild, weird couple of weeks. Like I honestly made this comment to a client earlier today when I was on on site. Was I thought last week was crazy, and then I know we're only 2 days into this week, but it seems determined to be like, hold my beer,
right?
Last week, and I'm like, oh, see, no, it's not a competition. No.
Right.
See, July was the crazy.
Right.
August, because if y'all aren't aware, like the images that you guys see daily that he posts for the astrology stuff, I generate those. Like, I go through and take the report he sends me, and I turn that into images. So, like, I get the full preview.
Yeah.
Like 6 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Potentially. Okay, so at least 2 weeks, if not the full 6 weeks.
Right.
So yeah, and I typed up July, and I just told everyone I knew, fasten your seatbelts. July is going to be a shit show. I typed up August and went, this seems calm. I was good.
We're still under the influences of July.
I know, but still.
What I find surprising, and this is just looking at the growth of Joe.
Good. Oh, God.
So we're dating in the original early stages of, me having 2 houses. And I warned him, I said, Mercury retrograde's getting ready to hit. And he looks at me like I have just told him that cookies are falling from the sky. And he goes, what's that have to do with shit? I said, you're going to get busy. Because he was, still working as Joe the repair dude.
I'm still Joe the repair dude.
Understand, and we will most likely argue.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm sitting over here with my Weird Al, that's your horoscope for today reaction. What?
And you had what? 9 computers on deck?
Oh, God.
He heard
and it happened.
He's
not wrong. He's not wrong. It does happen. I do see it. I don't know if just... And here's my own version of this is maybe it is, or just there's a cyclical thing that hits. And it is what it is. But whatever it is, yeah, I cyclically, and it fairly closely matches, the whole Mercury retrograde thing. Okay. I mean, great for me. Like, I can plan around it and be like, I'm going to be busy as fuck, but making money. Yay!
Mm-hmm. Hello, Shannon. Eating in. Grab the coffee pot as you come by.
You're right.
But no, and it's like, and Tracy says it's Juno. I don't think it's Juno. I really do not think it's Juno. Looking at this, I would think it's Vesta. Vesta's all pissed off and acting all rude right now.
Okay. What's the
Uh,
difference between Juno and Vesta, real quick?
there are two different asteroids that are elementally different, so therefore their gravitational field will be differently influenced. Both of them, however, are currently in a retrograde fashion, affecting the gravitational vibration of the Earth.
Okay, but they're not asteroids.
Yes, they are.
No.
Uh-huh.
They're moons of different planets, I think. Sorry, do you know what it takes to set up that damn graphic?
Mm-hmm.
I had to go pull like planetary bodies from all over the place.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, let's talk about that for just a second, though. Can we?
Sure.
Of like, I'm sitting here like going, okay, I know it's astrology. There are 9 planets.
Mm-hmm.
Like we like no one's pissing off. Like no one's
Talking to God of death and telling him he no longer has a planet.
Exactly. We are not offending the god of death.
Right.
All right, got it. But then like all these other things started popping up, and I was like, wait a minute, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hold on. I did not have to know this shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember ever having to know that Titan existed.
Right.
Like, that is not a planetary body I was taught about.
Right.
Vesta and Juno and like, no, I've got nothing. What? Like, no.
They are the 3 jewels of Vesta, Juno, and Chiron are the 3 jewels of the astrology.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Of an astrology chart. They look at different things. Vesta is the place in our chart that allows us to understand the way we feel towards our home and our family. Beyond that, she inspires ourselves to keep us going. And she's pissed off.
Okay. Also, I'm just curious.
Uh-huh.
Like, do you still have my chart back there? See if we can answer fun questions about Joe.
Give me a minute.
I'll sit here and be the guinea pig. Do I know?
I have to pull up your dossier.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you've decided to start calling this.
Well, I say, do you still have my chart back there? I know he does. I know he does. Like, oh, yes, Kylie, you can have a reading. We do need a date of birth. That is month, day, and year. We have to make sure that you, the person being read on, is of age. So. Oh, and we should have that banner on so that everyone gets that information. Ta-da! All right. Sorry, it's been a while since we've gotten to run this one on a Tuesday. Usually it's in the second half of the program. All right.
Well, give me a minute. Apparently, there's multiple things matching this.
Uh-oh.
Well,
how many copies? His backups have backups.
Yeah.
Like, but this is the funny part. He can pull multiple copies of my chart.
Uh-huh.
But like, God forbid it's our taxes.
One's more important.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, heaven help us all. Aw, there's a birthday you gotta love.
Okay.
It is. It's a birthday you gotta love.
Your birthday, yes.
No, this one.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at your chart. Oh, how lovely.
Yes.
Yes.
He knows the month and day well.
I do.
And he remembers the year with accuracy.
Yes. All right.
Come on,
So
that was too
first,
good.
let's talk about your chart. What did you want to know?
No, like you were talking about the jewels. Tell me about my jewels.
Oh. Well,
Yes, I
you're
said it.
looking. This isn't in your direct chart.
Oh, well, you were saying they were the 3 jewels of the chart.
They are the 3 jewels of the astrology chart. They're the expanded astrology chart. And yours are technically in Aries, Pisces, Gemini. So with that, you're going to have the influences of your house always being a little bit of a mockery of you.
Truth. No, Guiley, not yet. He wanted to finish answering the question I posed. Hey, Natalie, and I think we broke Brenda.
Right.
All right, so
Let's
yeah,
bring
we
up and tell them what we're looking at.
Okay, you're gonna show him my chart.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Zoom it in, because I can't see shit. Bigger. Yeah. Okay.
very nice. Here's Joe's chart. As you see, there's a lot of squares there, so a lot of his planetarial energies are opposing each other. Then we also have some trions going on, and then we have some sequins going on between his 12th house and his 9th house, which is his inner self with his career. So he has some untraced talents there that we have to learn to composition and basically pull out. The important one is that we're talking about here, as we're talking about jewels of the chart, is his par of fortune in Gemini, 24 degrees, which means it's about a quarter ways in. And it's at 13 to 19, 13 degrees and 19 seconds. That
Okay,
par
so
of fortune,
so what does that one represent? Like,
that's where your luck is. Your luck is Gemini. Like you win.
No, I get that.
Bar.
Okay, I get that, but you were like, these are the jewels of the chart. I'm
Right.
trying to understand, like, which one's Vesta, which one is Juno, and which one is
See
whatever.
the X-Man target?
Yeah, the par of fortune.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
Well, that's what I was getting to.
Okay, sorry.
The par of fortune is actually a leftover from the Arabican times. It is a point within the chart which will show where the person is the luckiest at, which means his 5th house and his luck is a Gemini energy. So if we go 5th house, the first one is self, the second one is your stuff, the third one is other people's stuff, the 4th one is your home, and the 5th one is your relationships.
Oh, my relationships? What the
I
hell?
believe.
Oh, that can't be my 5th house.
Give me a minute.
Like, honey, my relationships? Like,
Hey, I am your luck. Astral events. Sorry, I'm going through multiple files to pull up this information.
I know. I'm just sitting here going, can anyone remember all the houses off the top of their head? Like, I've sat through your class, I don't know how many times, and every time it's like new information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, not without the cheat sheet. I got nothing for you, buddy.
Yeah. See, I need to keep the cheat sheet printed in front of me.
I know. I'm kind of surprised you, of all people, don't have, like,
well, it's because I know three different housing systems.
Yeah. Well, but like, here's the thing that surprises me with you is I still expect you to have like a big sheet of glass over your desk with like a bunch of information pre-printed. That just like, this is referential.
Yeah. Like, that is actually creativity. Sorry, in this chart.
Oh no, that I do well with. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Brenda's like, houses, straw, wood, and brick. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Like if you're talking about my relationships, yeah, straw, wood, and brick.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the wind involved is like a category 5 hurricane.
Right.
Like that's my relationship. Like I'm just saying.
Right. Okay. So, so your luck is in your career, in your creativity, but you got to look at what all it's talking to. So I'm going to bring the chart back up and see what it's talking to. And yeah, if I do these for clients, I would highly recommend, one, you private book it, and two, when you do book it, you let me run your chart so that we know what we're looking at when we look at it.
Oh yeah. And the biggest thing you need for that is to know your time of birth as well as you can. He can do it for a day without the time, but like the information is a little less.
It's not a little less. It's only going to put off a few things.
Yeah, I know, but it's also like one of those, like, because you've had people that like you ended up having to run 3 different times on.
Yeah.
Like morning, like basically morning, afternoon, and night to try to like figure out, okay, where do you land?
Right. Not only where do you land, but where is it important that you land?
Right. Well, because there's some things that like if it's the morning, but you were born at night, like it's not going to resonate right.
Right.
But then you run it for night, and it's going to be like me.
All right. So his power of fortune is talking to two different points. His 9th house, which on the tropical astrology side is tick tick, come on. And this is so much easier since I've gotten a second monitor. Can I just say that?
Oh, I'm sure. All
Yeah.
right, so make it bigger.
I will. Give me a second.
Okay. And sorry, Kylie, we will get to you in just a minute. Like, hang in there.
Yeah.
I asked a more involved question than I thought I asked. I have a tendency to do that. Like, I thought it'd be a real simple question, and it was going to be like, what's my ascending and what's my, like, whatever.
Right. So it works. Your 9th house is your relationships house. It's also talking to your self-identity house. But it's talking to them in 2 different ways. One is a triad, meaning that, it's kind of friendly with it. But it's squaring off with and telling it to fuck off your 12th house, which is your underlying self, your hidden self.
Brenda! Dude! Rude. No, she said, where in Joe's chart is that impatience coming from?
Oh, that's easy to point out.
And you're sitting here going, all of it?
His impatience comes from his south node in his 6th house that basically pisses off everything else in his chart. He wants it now. He wants that. He's trying to get those karmatical lessons of patience and virtue and love learned now.
Unspy, builds an empire, unspy. Jesus.
Yep.
Can't we hurry this along? I want a German train station. That's what I want.
All right. So, that's what's going on with that. But Vesta is normally within the same area of your power of fortune. So that's why I'm like, oh, it's your creativity that's in a bad mood.
Okay.
Okay. So let's hop over and take this question so that she can get her lunch and enjoy her lunch. Thank her for tuning in during your lunch break.
Yes, thank you so much. So yeah, Kylie, 327 of 89. My question is about my relationship with Cheyenne. I believe we will connect again. Is that true? Even if it is as great friends and not romantic relations. And thank you, and hoping to be forgiven.
Yes.
I'm assuming from the. Sounds
Yeah.
like a
From Cheyenne.
oops breakup.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to use a 5-card spread for this, like I have been doing. All right. In the past, there was a lot of balance, a lot of emotions, and a lot of attraction fidelity there with the Empress appearing up. Right now, there's a lot of gossip going on and a lot of someone looking to come in and be the rescuer. Let me fix this for you. Moving ahead, it does show a reunition with the Four of Wands occurring here with the Page of Pentacles. That being together, it's going to be a very logical thing. I feel right now you've got to relax and leave it alone. I don't feel like your intercession here will be able to help him. Do I think that it's going to be more than a friendship again? Yes. Do I think that it's going to be today, tomorrow, this week? No. I think that you're looking at probably at least a season. And when I say that, that's the Ace of Pentacles for those trying to learn their timing. So we are in the summer season, so you're looking at least late fall before he's even going to entertain anything.
All right. So if you can't get pumpkin spice everything, it's too soon.
Right. Let him come to you, because he's the emotional slow one to recover here. All right.
Yes. So
Now,
Kelly says there was a huge attraction, that he has blocked me and I messed it up. Wondering if I should send a letter, and that's basically a no. Like that was a no. Like no, leave it alone. And giving it time and holding back. Yeah, don't send the letter.
Right. But no, it was fun to look at your chart, and I've actually examined your chart in detail in a few different systems just to see where some things are. Astrology does give you a lot of insight into somebody, how they tick, how to counter tick, how to recounter tick them, how to get reactions out of what you want. Matter of fact, after our third date, I ran our astrology charts and figured out we can't do two things in our relationship ever.
Well, we should highly try to avoid. Like, one, we can't communicate for shit. We will both sit here and say the same damn thing and fight over it.
Yeah.
But that's not one of the ones. The actual thing is, like, we can't actually argue.
Right.
Like, if we're diametrically opposed, this is going to end badly.
Yeah.
Like we fight when we agree. Okay. Like, you got to take that and consider it heavily. We fight when we agree.
Right.
Like, no, we can't be diametrically opposed on anything. It's like, this is going to be bad. Like, that's just you. That's a choice you can make. Goodbye.
I don't feel that he's seeing somebody else. Sorry, I'm replying to questions as she's popping them out here.
Oh, yeah. No, we were talking about each other's, like Aeson and I. Like, spoiler alert, we're in a relationship.
Yeah. But no, yeah, that is one of the things that pointed out in the chart is we can't argue. If we're going to argue, it needs to be a legal brief.
Oh, wait. Kylie, who has the same birthday as
year.
Different year.
Yeah.
But same birthday.
Uh-huh.
Did you get in a relationship with a Cancer?
Uh-huh.
Is that what you did? Did you go pick up a Cancer boy? Because he can tell you, we can tell you all that.
Yeah.
Like, did you find the Cancer? Because we feel for you.
She is talking to a Cancer. All right, listen up, Kylie. If you're going to deal with a Cancer.
Oh, Cheyenne's Sagittarius. Okay.
All right, let me break it down for the Aries versus Sagittarius connection, and then I will talk about the Aries versus Cancer connection for Kylie. Kylie, the Sagittarian will make you write bad checks.
Oh.
Okay, that relationship will be unsteady, and you will always feel like he is your drug. The Cancer connection, you guys cannot handle taxes together, nor can you fight and argue. Make it a
Uh-uh.
legal brief because you've got to orient a case. And you can ask Joe. He's gotten legal briefs from me in bullet point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We recently had an argument over something. We both said the same thing.
What?
We both said the same thing.
Yeah, we do it all the time. Like, I'm not kidding. We argue over things we agree on.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, that's not exactly it. There's a like 0.2% difference in what you said versus what I said. And we'll argue that shit all the time. That is going to be your Aries Cancer relationship. It will drive you up a fucking wall.
It's not like a Sagittarian drug high, though.
Yeah, like you're. Yeah, well, yeah. Basically, that's the other part of this.
You've
Is
seen me date Sages before.
yeah, like if like yeah, like be careful with that dating a Sag. Like that's like doing crack.
Uh-huh.
Like, have you ever looked at a meth pipe and been like, that's for me? Okay, that's what you're doing with the Sagittarius. Is you're looking at a meth pipe, going, I need it.
Yeah.
And we're telling you, be careful.
Yes.
Like you will
technical
fuck
life.
up your life.
Right. All right. But no, yes, Vesta is in retrograde. So, we're going to have not noxious energy arrive with wittiness, looking back in the past and dreams that have faded. It could be a self-deprivation period if we didn't learn how to move forward in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that, of course, will be going on for a while because Vesta's an asteroid, so the globalization isn't great. Chiron is retrograde in Aries on the 19th of July. The Wounded Healer will be moving backwards until December, shifting our attention towards our own internal wounds as we focus on what needs to be healed. So great, he's going to be throwing fucking antibiotics into your energy wave. And Juno is retrograded in Pisces. Internal conflicts emerge when this asteroid of fairness goes into retrograde. Dream relationships can turn into nightmares, and hurt feelings can leave a deep emotional wound. Jupiter is also in retrograde in Aries as of the 28th. Jupiter, the guru planet, teaches us some pretty hard lessons when it comes to bruising our ego. Over the next 4 months, our focus shifts to internal selves as we become more mature and self-aware. You're going to see where this is leading to, guys. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is all coming out of July, right?
Now, this is coming out of July. We've got 4 astral bodies. One of them, the biggest astral body, meaning it creates the most gravitational pull, in retrograde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have a follow-on question from Kylie.
Awesome. So with all that going on, can we say the psychic's a little tissed?
Yeah. Oh, everyone's been titchy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, duh, I told you guys. Like, I tried to give you a warning.
Uh-huh.
Like, meanwhile, can I find it funny that you've had an issue with a network in the midst of all this? And I just want to sit there and look at this network and take a CEO lovingly in my hands
Uh-huh.
and go, are you in there? Did you read anyone's blogs this month? Did you read a damn thing? Like, you pay astrologers to work with you. Yeah. All day long. Like, you got like 200 of them. Hitler had fewer.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here surprised
Uh-huh.
that like all of your advisors are like, right now? Really? Really?
Right.
Like you're having a bad month. Okay. Yeah. All right. Someone didn't pay attention to anyone's shit.
Exactly. Even the worst astrologers could have seen this coming. But anyhow, so 4 years ago, a supplier of mine, a network, a vendor, you can call them, began having issues, and they have been coming in increasingly worse. And as they did, I would point it out with a simple email. Hi, can you go over there and fix something, as they're coming out with new shiny things? And of course, increasing their fees, which means my fee to my customers have to be increased.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the Cancerian, if you decide to go into that rescue relationship, is going to be short term, and then you're going to have to deal with the other one when he comes back. So you guys will notice that on aesonknight.com, and this will be perpetually being released onto my other internal networks and anything internally based for me, a new button, but it isn't a new button. It's actually an old standard button. Click for Advisor was the original network I began working with in 2001.
Yep.
I moved away from them because they did not allow me to do a lot of things that I enjoy doing, like sending weekly emails to my clients, maintaining a good client relationship. It's a very antiquated email system. What they do, and do it damn well, is connect me and my clients.
Yeah.
They also chat me and my clients. And over the last year and a half, they have developed a video process.
Woo.
So you can actually, if you are used to getting me in a private appointment Zoom, be able to reach me for an in-demand call that's a video experience.
What's that, Lassie? The platform acts like a platform?
Yes.
Oh,
Kylie, have fun with the Cancerian. Doesn't mean that you can't, try to do more. But overall, leave it be. Let it stew a little bit.
This, okay, let's boil it down for Kylie. Kylie, your Cancerian is your summer fun. Go have fun. Enjoy it. Let it be what it's going to be, but it's going to be short term. Basically, is what I keep getting from what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Is this is your summer fun? Like this is your summer fling. Go enjoy. Well, you don't have to be attracted to have fun. Like you can go out to dinner and whatever.
Right.
And just be. Like you're not planning a future. You're not picking out China patterns. You're not you're currently coming off your Sag high. Like you have put down the crack pipe for a little bit. You're coming down. You're doing your withdrawals, and then it sounds like Sag comes back, and then you have to decide is this how you want to live?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be crazy. It's Bonnie and Clyde crazy.
Yeah. Very good analogy. Thank you, Joe.
Hey, I do what I can.
I know. So yes, I have moved back to Click for Advisor. I will be rolling this out throughout my websites. If you use an on-demand service that is hosted by me, it will be a Click for Advisor site. This will allow you to have the options that I think you should have to contact me. And you are going to, if you want to be on my email list, and you still have the availability to book private appointments. If you're on my email list, you already have a code for 20% off an appointment. If you're a Patreon, you have a codes that are unlimitless, depending on your tier, for a % off my appointments. But for the on-demand services, I highly recommend you going to aesonknight.com and using that on-demand service. One, it's going to be cheaper. It's not the $5.99. It's at $3.99 right now. So it's cheaper for you. I'm going to know that your call gets through to me and that your data is protected. And that was my whole issue, is their borking stuff. And that's all I can say on it, is it's getting borked.
Yeah. Well, and back to Kylie really, really quickly. That's the addiction talking. That's the addiction talking.
Mm-hmm.
Sag people are, for you, are gonna be like picking up a crack pipe. or picking up, enjoying the math. And right now you're going through that withdrawal, and everything in that withdrawal tells you, like, find a way to get your next fix, find a way to make this happen and make this work, and you have to have it now.
Mm-hmm.
What he's saying is you got to fight that urge. Like,
Yeah.
if you want there to possibly ever be something else there with this person, you got to fight that urge. You got to put it down. You got to do your withdrawal. You got to, like, whoo.
Mm-hmm.
And we know it's hard. Like, take a cold shower, calm it down. Like, that's all you can do right now.
Right. So
But
that is what is going on with Aeson Knight. .com. It will be moving to PCSP Network. It will be moving to West Virginia Psychics. It will be moving to Psychic Coach. Everywhere that button will be replacing. My price will be $3.99 a minute.
woo! That is a nice knockdown.
Because it will do nothing except annoy him more.
Yeah.
It doesn't help the relationship. It doesn't move the relationship. It just makes him more frustrated with you.
Yeah, well, and here's a concept we've tried to talk about on the show some, but, like, to boil it down, like, here's the thing with psychic guidance is he's telling you what you need to do to move forward in the direction and giving you a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the fun part. If you don't follow that advice and you go off and do what you want to do, that time frame may change significantly. Like, you send that letter, it may push it into next year, for example. I'm not saying that's what happens. I'm not him. I'm not reading cards. I'm just saying that be careful with that. Like, you have to fight this urge if you want, like, that pumpkin spice time to be roughly when this starts to, like, swing back around with the Sag.
Yep.
Because, like, I don't know, you've had clients that have pulled that before.
Yeah.
Where, you know what I mean? Like, they come, they ask you for advice, and then they go do the exact thing you tell them don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, here's your new reading, because you just borked that. You just blew that timeline entirely.
Right. I just want to point out, Vesta will be re-entering Aquarius because we're coming out of this damn storm on August 21st, bringing the inequality of the world and our collective attention as we struggle between personal freedom and what is best for the group.
Okay.
Yeah. Wonder what Congress is going to be doing during that time. Just saying.
Oh, no. That could be interesting.
Yeah, I'm thinking highly about starting to recheck and combobulate governmental decisions with astrology effects, just for my own amusement, if not for our listeners.
I would love to see, like, what was going on while they were deliberating on this decision that affected Roe v. Wade.
Okay,
through that whole deliberation, not when they announced it.
I know.
But, like,
I'm trying to remember. They were deliberating in April this year because they released it in May.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. Mercury entered Taurus after weeks of rapid thought. It starts slowing down when Mercury enters its steady Taurus with the planet communication. In the bull sign, common sense takes over, and we deliberately think of our words before speaking. I think that is probably about the time that we saw the leak going on. Jupiter was in Pisces, pissing off Neptune in Pisces. In compassionate Pisces, you bring a major dose of peaceful creativity and loving vibes. Well, that didn't help.
Yeah, that didn't do shit. Wow.
Okay, around the 12th, we have the Sun in Aries sextiling or pissing at Saturn and Aquarius. The ideal aspects brings the authentic of all of us to work together, helping each other. I think this is where deals were made.
Okay. That's where the backslapping occurred.
Exactly. Like, well, if you back
Okay.
me on this, I'll back you on that.
Yeah.
Looking for another square of Pluto and Capricorn. Ah, this is interesting. Um, on the 18th of April, the Sun in Aries squared Pluto and Capricorn. This is a power-hungry aspect to bring a clash of egos trying to forge our own path from the people who try to control us. Fight for individuality.
Yeah, that sounds like that could have been where that decision was made.
Yeah.
And real quick, quietly, yes, even if you just want him as a friend, like you can't have your diet meth and that changes it. No. There's no such thing. Anyway, so looking back through April.
All right. So April 29th, Pluto, planet of death, goes retrograde in Capricorn.
That doesn't sound good.
Right. The planet of transformation will go into its 5-month retrograde starting today, encouraging fresh starts and personal transformations. That's when the decision was made.
Ah, interesting.
Because you got to think, this is a battle that has been going on for 50 fucking years.
Basically.
It's going to be forced into a legal battle that the courts takes out, that is out of the court's hands. So it's transferring that. It also matters that all of us, including the ones that do not have uteruses and should not have a fucking say in this, to form an opinion.
Yeah. Well, of course, that's where this all started.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, historically, you look all the way back at the beginning of legislation towards
Mm-hmm.
abortion. Like, this is long term, and not to go all like deep dive liberal, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, it was born out of patriarchy.
All right.
Like, you can't argue that one and win. Like,
Right.
that was
You got to
that had
remember the
nothing.
first original law was when created. The 1836 law was created when women were not even equal citizens in the United States.
Like, women were still chattel at that point.
Correct.
Like,
Ugh.
like
And
your
I just
dog.
a problem.
Yeah. It was kind of like, here's 1836 in a nutshell. 1835, correct me if I'm wrong, is when West Virginia became a state, just so that like we could divide up that whole north and south thing.
Mm-hmm.
We were one more union state. So 1836 roughly, you're still sitting there dealing with like women and like dogs and horses and cows and your slaves. All were on the same level, but they still were not a free white man over the age of 21.
Right.
Like that was the differential. That's when they wrote a law about abortion.
All right. In New York.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hey, Ashley, girl.
Hey, baby girl, how you cooking?
Like, hugs.
All right. It's also surprisingly when Texas declared their revolution.
Oh, again. Like, can Texas just stop?
Well, you know, they had to secede from Mexico because they were not a United States then.
True. Can we send them back? Did someone keep the receipts on Texas? Can we return them?
The first numbered U.S. patent was issued for an improvement of the steam locomotive in July.
like sliced bread wasn't a thing for like another almost 90 years.
Right. Charles Darwin returned to England and it was during the trip on the HMS Beagle that he formed his theory of evolution after leaving South America on August 17th. So it must have been a really slow trip with a lot of quiet time so he could think. On December 15th, the U.S. Patent Office burned in D.C.
Oh.
The Crown Colony of South Australia was officially proclaimed, subsequently celebrating in the state of South Australia as Proclamation Day.
Proclamation Day.
Yes.
So there was a lot.
Well, it's on Boxing Day.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's things. But yeah.
So there was a lot of things going on during this time. A lot of deep energy fights going on. The Fort Parker Massacre among those captured by Native Americans as a 9-year-old. Stivell Ann Parker, she later gives birth to a son, Quashin, who became the last chief of the Comanches. Okay. Arkansas was the 25th state admitted to the United States on June 15th. So if we look at this event calendar from that time period, comparing it to the astrological level time period, you can see a lot going on there.
Yeah. Like, it was a busy time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're not going to go with it was the best of times and the worst of times, but it was a busy time.
Right. But this is how you key in those astrological planets and pulling everything together.
There you go.
All right. So Ashley's got a question. Let's talk about that, and then we've got to talk about our Speaker of the House making some trips.
Ooh. All right. So Ashley, 82696, is the insurance going to pay out? Am I overstressing? Oh yes. So no, I have not heard the new blah blah blah. I have not heard the new Beyonce album.
Right.
But yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah, we can talk about Beyonce and some news she's been making, but that's more of a Friday night topic. But yeah, we can definitely go into that, and I can give you a review of that on Friday, Ashley. Mm-hmm. All right, is the insurance going to pay out? Yes, it's also a new path beginning for you because we do have the Fool appearing up in your current position with the King of Wands and the Page of Wands. So there's going to be some exploration and also some balance of logical and practical ideas. I think you're going to have to be doing some releasing of things that no longer serve you. We do have the Judgment card here, which is a reevaluation, a start taking a checklist of what's actually working for you versus what's not, and removing what's not, and looking at what you actually have. The Nine of Cups here. Those tied together, yes, they pay out. Also, with that being tied together, I think you're going to have to take what I call stock. Sure. The first card was the Fool. New beginnings. What's going to be coming off? Time for a fresh start.
There we go.
Yep.
So apparently, if we love dance music, we'll love it. So we should love it.
Yeah, we should love it. We are very much into dance music and club music and what was considered house music. So we'll give you a review of it, Ashley, on Friday's show. All right.
Oh, Ashley's like, I know where that's coming.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, has landed in Taiwan. This is after China has threatened war if she came to Taiwan. Now, this is bitch don't come to my house energy.
Basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you didn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't come to my vacation house because, of course, Taiwan is under the control of China, and supposedly there's tension, and there's been tensions there, and it adds more tension to it. But it's very interesting because she is well within her rights to visit wherever she wants to in this world. If she wanted to land on top of the Taliban's leader's house, step off in her matching outfit, and go have a conversation with him and negotiate his surrender, she can choose to do so. We can't control where she, and this is what the government kind of hit on, is she's the fourth ranking member to be president. So there is some safety concerns, but we can't stop her from going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah. So
she's
that
Nancy Pelosi.
She is Nancy Pelosi. She is our savior in many things. I'm hoping her husband is enjoying AA. But no, she's got balls. I mean, come on.
Well, and she's
come over here. Fine, honey. Let's go.
Yeah, she's like one of the worst people to ever like throw down a gauntlet and be like, or draw a line in the sand and be like, you will not cross. Because she's gonna cross.
Yeah.
She's gonna do it.
Uh-huh.
Like, you can't, like, no. Bad life choices, guys. That's how you got Nancy Pelosi there.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she did.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. That's probably not.
It's really nice. I'm over at NBC News, and they literally have signs all through Taiwan. Welcome, Speaker Pelosi. Welcome to Taiwan, Speaker Pelosi. In like 50-foot signs with very nice, may I add, captions.
Mm-hmm. But totally ticked off China with this, right?
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah. Taiwan has been ticking off China for a very long time. There's actually a pact to defend Taiwan if China were ever to invade. The whole reason that this is all over is a leftover thing, because Taiwan was captured during the Second World War. And when it was captured, it technically became either Great Britain's or America's, and we would be nice, and then we made an agreement to nicely return Taiwan at a certain time, thinking that we would then renegotiate for their independence. Unfortunately, we did not get their independence, and China has been very much attempting to not only enforce that, but being very much on shutting down the movement to be democratic there.
Yeah. And yes, Taiwan is a country.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sorry, someone asks me the question, then I'm like, do I know this? Right. Like, am I sure? Like,
yeah. Yes, Taiwan is a country. It's very much a full island. It's bigger than Hawaii.
Yeah, but it's still a tiny country. It's not.
And no, she is there in diplomatical talks with the King of Taiwan and the President of Taiwan, and moving to work on possibly getting us more technology shipped to America that's coming out of Taiwan, i.e. fixing the chip issue, and to secure some strategic planning for possibly another crisis there in the Taiwan Strait.
So technically, Taiwan is officially the Republic of China.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually its own separate country.
Yes.
It's been one of those, like, because there's the People's Republic of China, which is actually China.
Right.
Versus the Republic of China.
Actually, she was probably 4 years old, Ashley, when the original treaty was negotiated.
Oh, wow. That's been a hot minute.
Yeah. She was either 4 or 5. Because she was born in 1940.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, she
Now,
was but
do
a
you know the
child.
tea that I would like to see happen?
Someone point out you were a teenager?
No, no, thank you. The tea I would like to see happen is Nancy Pelosi and Queen Elizabeth having tea. Because those are two world leaders born within the same time period.
Basically. And that's kind of scary.
And I think we ought to invite,
Well, yeah, okay, technically, yeah, they would probably be same generation.
yeah,
Like, kind of opposite ends of the generation.
but still the same generation.
Still the same generation, yeah. And that's kind of scary to think of.
Mm-hmm.
Because we kind of look over at the Queen of England and, like, you know, she looks like everyone's cookie baking, like, grandmother, great grandmother. And then, like, you know what I mean, the quintessential grandma.
Right.
And then there's, like, Nancy Pelosi, who's, like, you know, you could easily drop her at, like, Cougar Night at the bar.
Yeah.
And, like, no one's going to, like, question it. It's going to be like, you know, Nancy Pelosi on a bar doing shots. What did you expect?
Right. Which, from what I understand, she's more of a gin person instead of a shot person. And I do understand she enjoys a good bourbon. But anyhow. But no, and then Angela Merkel.
Mm-hmm.
Also at that.
Yeah, I don't think she's that old, is she? Like, this is a hell of a tea party you've got going. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm cool with the like Queen of England, Angela Merkel, Nancy Pelosi tea party. This sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Angela Merkel is probably a good, like, she's got to be a second different generation. Like, she's probably a good 10 to 15 well, 10 years younger than
14 years younger than Nancy Pelosi. So yeah, those three, that span of that 40-year generation there, from 1926 to 1954.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be
It'd be a fun
hilarious to watch that occur.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a tea party.
Yeah.
Oh, kind of unrelated. I thought about the old people. Did y'all cover the newest mansion headline? Oh, God, what is that? Dinosaur done now.
Let's
Dang
see.
it.
I know he made a deal. He made a deal that is going to allow for the pipeline to go through, but I think he made the deal for the right reason.
Climate tax deal?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was today. So Senator Joe Manchin says he is exchanging materials with Senator Kristen Sinema to help her better understand the broad tax reform and climate bill he negotiated with Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer, and says he is open to her suggestions as Democrats seek 50 votes to put the bill on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But the bigger news here, and the impactful news at this point, is that the Senate did pass the bill for our vets. And yes, there are trade-offs there. Do I like all the trade-offs? No. But do I think our vets need these? Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, he's looking at, well, I don't know. This sounds like his most, like, cooperative in a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But again, it's that old backhand deal. You shake my hand, I want yours. You know, he wants the pipeline pushed through West Virginia for the benefits to West Virginia. Do I agree with the pipeline? Fuck no. But do I see what he's doing to get what he needs? Yes. Do I think that's what we're going to have to do to get some things through? Yes.
Yeah, like, I'm not big on this pipeline concept. Mostly because, I'm sorry, every time we hear pipeline in the news that isn't they're going to build one, it's that, like, they're massively destroying the environment.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's all you ever hear. Like, that's it. Like, those are your headlines. It doesn't really create jobs. They talk about all the jobs it's going to create. Yeah, they're temporary.
Yeah.
It's a short-term building project. Like, the whole world runs on those.
Right.
Like, nothing lasts forever, but still, don't sit here and talk about you're adding X jobs to the economy like it's a permanent thing.
Right.
Like,
now, apparently, Manchin has been questioning Fox News anchors on their patriotism.
fair enough.
I love it when I search one thing and it pops up other shit. But
Yeah.
apparently, Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner briefly lost it during a continual interview with Senator Joe Manchin, unfortunately of West Virginia, on Tuesday, taking a strong issue with the centrism senator, asking her if she was a affiliate of the Democrats, afraid of the Democrats doing something good for America.
Ooh, burn. Who taught him that? That sounds like Nancy Pelosi. Like, he just channeled Nancy Pelosi. Is
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi okay?
All right, here we go. Let me throw this over to Joe because he can cover it better because I cover some things, but most of the times I prefer to go off the cuff.
Yeah, because sight reading, not always
Not
the
my
best.
strong point. This is why
Well,
I
and
cannot
not-
do script reading for some networks.
Yeah, so, yeah. All right, so Fox News anchor Harris Faulkner briefly lost it during a contentious interview with Senator Joe Manchin on Tuesday, taking strong issue with the centrist senator, say that 5 times fast, I dare you, asking her if she's afraid of Democrats doing something good for America. So, my father served, an incensed Faulkner fired back at Manchin at one point, demanding that the West Virginia lawmaker not make it personal.
But it is personal.
It is personal. With Manchin taking a media victory lap after finally striking a deal with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer to pass portions of President Joe Biden's economic agenda, Fox News has quickly turned on their favorite Democrat. After praising him for months for tanking Biden's Build Back Better legislation, the network's disappointed host and commentators have groused about Manchin's betrayal.
Yeah.
Appearing on the Faulkner Focus on Tuesday to explain his support for the newly named Inflation Reduction Act, Manchin parried most of Faulkner's pointed questions about the bill's tax structure, spending, and energy investments. For the most part, Manchin continued his appeal to the patriotism of both the anchor and the network's viewers. So, yeah. Oh, fun. Oh, goodness.
What I'm loving in this is not a Democrat bill. This is not a Republican bill. It's not a green deal. This is a red, white, and blue deal. Harris, how often have we seen this bullcrap of reframing these bills? The mere importance of this bill is one big one. It requires large corporations to pay a minimum of 15% taxes. So that means Fox News is going to have to pay a minimum of 15% taxes.
That's if they even qualify.
Yeah.
That's if they even qualify under the thing for this. Like, we're talking about, like, Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
15% minimum tax.
Right.
At least 15%. Facebook.
Yeah.
15%. These are corporations that don't pay shit.
Yes.
Like, they near zero every year through one loophole after another.
Right.
And they do it intentionally. They have, like, these companies are big enough to hire whole accounting firms. It's
Right.
not an accountant. It's an accounting firm.
Right.
But then additionally, even if what they're doing is wrong,
Mm-hmm.
that firm has made it too damn complicated
Right.
for the IRS to go through their tax return and come up with anything.
Right.
Like, here's the thing. Like, effectively, these are like Facebook and Amazon and, you know, potentially a few other companies, Walmart, for example, could be operating what is effectively a criminal organization.
Right.
The
But-
IRS isn't going to know it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to touch it. Like, they're like, So the takeaway lesson is, if you want to run organized crime, you just have to hire an entire accounting IRS.
Right. Okay. So the news networks generated more than 2.5 billion combined ad revenue last year. No, Forbes, I do not want to hire you. Helping large measures, specifically the 2022 election. 1.2 billion dollars. So yeah, they're going to have to pay taxes on that, a minimum of 15%. But she asked, who is paying any of these taxes that do not have corporations that has a revenue over $1 billion a year? No one, the West Virginia senator replied.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah. I'm asking you a different question than you're answering, she says. I'm saying Americans 400,000 and below now are going to be taxed. Their taxes will go up, Fortner replied. That's wrong, Mansion Retro. That's a lie, a pure outright lie.
Yeah, because this is about large corporations. It has nothing to do with like if you are making below $100,000 a year, this will not affect you. If you are making $100,000 to $400,000 a year, this will not affect you. If you are making $400,000 to $1 million a year, this will not affect you.
Right. Now, what I find interesting, she tried a trick, and it's a false trick. After she does the "of course not, my father served," and the Mansion fires back, "Well, sounds like you are." She goes, "Are you kidding me? Service is in the Bible," Faulkner continued. "This is what we do. We serve our fellow men and women, of course. Don't make this a personal, because it's not." Well, actually, service is in the Bible. It specifically says that Christians should not participate in war.
Oh, no, he did.
Oh, yes, she did.
Ooh. Ooh. Burn.
Yeah.
Burn. Yeah, that's how you take off Fox News.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's being invited back for a while.
Yeah. But no, she tried to pull this. But service is in the Bible. Service. No. Service
not that.
means getting off your ass and hopping your little happy ass down to the food kitchen. Service means getting off your happy little ass and mowing the old lady's yard and washing the windows. And in the Bible times, feeding the poor. Not putting on arms and going off to fight a war. Your Bible actually says that you're not to do that.
Like, what, like, sort of like that, what is it called? It's the little Mormon text that's in every, or like right next to the Gideon Bible is the Book of Solomon. Yeah. Is there like a gospel according to Saint Bastard that some religion has that I have not yet heard of that Fox News follows? Because I'm like, yeah, no. See, like, if you take service to mean like strap on arms and go kill people, like, no. That's not really biblical. This whole God, guns, and glory thing is an invention. Like, no. This all got fucked up in the Crusades.
Yeah.
Like, someone really, really didn't get it.
Yeah.
Like, that had way more to do with a consolidation of power than it ever had to do with religion.
Right.
Like, don't mix those two. Would have thought we would have learned through the Crusades. Maybe we should not mix government and politics with religion.
Well, what I find interesting is they always, whenever they want to be challenged on something, go, "It's in the Bible." Fucking learn what's in the Bible. It's bad that a Wiccan priest knows your Bible better than you. All 26 versions of it.
Yeah, really.
Fox News, go back to biblical studies. It's a first level course at most religious organizations. Take
Yeah,
it. Send your
it's not a
interest
hard one.
through it. They might be able to get through the course study, although I'm sure a few of them will be able to get through a high school English study, but maybe.
Of course, then again, most churches really aren't encouraging people to read the Bible. Like, you end up becoming, like, not religious.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a large correspondence there. Like, if you don't read the Bible, it's real easy to be like, your normal Wednesday night Christian, or your
Mm-hmm.
normal Sunday, 11 a.m. service Christian.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the book, man, do they hate that crap. Because
Right.
then you start questioning shit.
Right.
Sorry, I'm waiting for an invisible assistant delivery. There we go. Thank you. Sorry, I forgot to check my stock before we started. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So, yeah, but no, if you actually read the book,
Mm-hmm.
it probably does more to dissuade than
Mm-hmm.
it does to actually like bring it in. I still kind of sit there with what was it, Gandhi, who said like, I love your Christ, I don't like your Christians, they're nothing like your Christ.
Right.
Like, I'm cool with it.
Right.
I'm just not really cool with Christians. Like,
Right.
that's my thing. Like, I'm cool with like the theories and the principles and the da da da. Okay, the talking snake and the burning bush shit is a little over the top, but whatevs. There's a parable there. But whatevs. But like the general foundational principles, at least New Testament side, because I think God's kind of a bit of a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Old Testament,
Right.
like, dude, I'm sorry, does anyone think Old Testament God doesn't sound like a drunken, abusive father?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, this sounds like Friday Night for abused children.
Well, if you read the Lama's Bible, it's a completely different Bible. It's even within the same terms, and yeah, it's the same stories, but they're very different. Now, the Lama's Bible, for those who are unaware or uneducated, the Lama's Bible is directly translated from the original Greek or Arabic that the original texts were written in, without the effects of King James.
Brenda says, told a preacher once, I've got no problem with Jesus. His followers scare me.
Well, I've got no problem with the Jesus theory. Again, we have no evidence of him occurring. I do, however, have a problem with his current theosophical expiries quoting him wrong. If a client of mine quotes me wrong, they are no longer my client.
Well, I mean, especially when they're like taking something so totally out of context. Like, take the burn his shit. Like, that is not a commandment.
Yeah.
that is a emotional statement. Like, this is where emotionally you need to be, not actual.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't go burn his shit. Like, that shit's illegal. You'll go to jail.
Right.
But you can metaphorically burn his shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. But no, yeah, if you tell a client like burn his shit and they go do it, it's like, no. That is not what I literally told you to do. I metaphorically meant,
yeah,
you need to like throw him out of your life.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Right.
We're done.
Right.
Like, but no, like, that's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so Brenda just saw the Lord's Prayer supposedly translated directly from ancient Arabic, and it's so much different. I would say so. Like, you gotta remember how, like, I don't know, like, the Bible gets really scary when you realize, like, how much of this was, like, translated, retranslated, translated with opinions,
Mm-hmm.
and, to suit a time and a ruler. And, like, King James Version is so fucked up. Like, can we just all agree on that? Like NKJV and KJV, real fucked up versions of the Bible.
Right.
Like, they're messed up. And if you want to go really tick people off, like show up at a Baptist church with an NIV.
Right.
New International Version.
Well, I have
Woo!
problems with the international version, especially 1946.
I thought it was the NKJV revision.
No, it's international too.
Ah. Well, because no, there's an actual literal New International Version.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where the mistake came in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I will say, like, NIV in and of itself, though, is a lot more mild. Like, it tones it back
Right.
a whole lot.
Right.
Like the whole thing just kind of... NKJV, though.
Yeah.
Like, that is just sadomasochistic porn, really. Like,
Well, you know, he was fearful of women. He was fearful of witches. He was fearful of things he did not know. And gee, what's all created in the NKG? This total fear and demonstratism. But anyhow, we have a more celebrity news topic, and then we're going to go into our two favorite columns of the week. Are you the asshole and relationship advice?
Hey, there we go. All right. So I have a link. Oh, the Chrisleys believe comebacks begin with Jesus. Who the fuck are these people?
All right. Todd Chrisley is the hilariously person who has been convicted of tax evasion after his Bravo special, and his wife, who were both at the edge of divorce when they were charged with federal crimes. If Chrisley knows best.
Okay.
This is also the one that is suing KG.
Okay, KG. What?
Yeah. The one would be gladly loaning my crystal ball to because she doesn't have one.
Oh, okay. Got it now. Oh. So, yeah, they were convicted of tax fraud and tax evasion in June, and the Chrisleys, with the help of their former business partners, submitted false bank statements, audit reports, and personal financial statements to banks to obtain millions of dollars in fraudulent loans, said the Department of Justice. We had this employee that worked for us that has caused so much of the stuff that has happened, and you look and say, how is he getting away with this? How is this happening? Todd said of a former employee. So they found a scapegoat,
Well, of course,
dumped it all on one employee. Oh, come on. Quote, I have prayed for God to take that hatred out of my heart because I know what this man did. Just because I don't know what's going on in his life doesn't mean God's not handling it. Yeah, like, dude, the thing going on in his life is you're using him as a scapegoat. And that's new. That's not what caused your problem. That's what you told him to do. I think it's a short version, right? Cliff Notes?
Right. Cliff Notes.
Yeah. Like, it's a short article.
Right.
So, yeah. And I'm reading it out of order because, sorry, I started digging into the first paragraph and I'm like, what the hell? So anyway, so now Todd and Julie Chrisley are thinking about making a comeback, and they're getting their inspiration from Jesus himself. Really? We've been waiting 2,000 fucking years for him to come back. You're not going to do it? So, quote, I started a new book this week, and it's about comebacks, said Julie Chrisley in the July 29th episode of their podcast, Chrisley Confessions. Was that the name of the podcast before or after they were convicted?
Before.
Okay, in this book it says that comebacks begin with Jesus. Todd, meanwhile, is focused on where exactly he went wrong. I got lost when I couldn't tell the difference in my self-worth and my net worth, explained Todd. And the bigger my net worth became, the less I focused on my self-worth. because everything was being built around that network. Yeah, I'm sure you're not gonna fucking like cry about it in your Lear. You know it's not.
Right.
Like, you know, that was private jet level money.
Mm-hmm. But
Like,
no, I'm so tired of this. Like, Todd, come on, you're going to do another trope?
oh, the redemption story. Isn't that so, like, I don't know, Swaggart,
Mm-hmm.
Baker,
Yeah.
name your televangelist couple. Like, it's like televangelist bingo, really.
Right.
Oh, you got caught up in the trappings of blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what fallout of this and how that fallout will occur. And if they'll even make a comeback to Bravo. It's very interesting. This is now the third case of Bravo's stars being in trouble with the court. First, we have, the Italian family who, have now divorced. And the father had to go back to Italy because he wasn't a citizen after he completed it. Then we have the Jen Shaw case, the Shy Shocker, that we're following, and she's now pled guilty and could get up to 30 years in jail, but will most likely get around 11 to 14 for falsely selling leads and products that are not actual products to unsuspected customers. And then now we are dealing with the Chrysler case. Bravo. One, who have you pissed off at the Justice Department? And two, how much vetting do you do on your people?
Better yet, every network out there, Bravo included, TLC included, can we just can we get to post-reality television?
Right.
Because like the more of this crap you do, the uglier it gets. Like
Right.
this is not like like Real Housewives, how many people have gotten arrested out of that?
Right.
The Real World, like, no, it isn't. It is not the real world. That is totally not the real world. If that's your real world, you done fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, reality television, like, and then let's not even get started. TLC, hi.
Uh-huh.
Hi. Like, you have sown so many problems.
Right.
Like, no. No.
Yeah.
Like freaking Octomom and then the Duggars. Like, you just trash people's lives.
Exactly.
And then, like, put the carnage on television.
Well, I think the only successful ones, and that's debatable, is the Kardashians. Like, after the show's over, they're still successful.
Yeah, well, and Duck Dynasty is another one. And it's because, like, they know that, like, I think those are two shows where, like, we know this is television. We know this is fake. We know.
Right.
Where the lines are.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying it's good television. I'm not saying I have any, like, I want to watch this. I'm just saying that, like, if you do,
right.
You got to kind of pick up on this is entertainment. Like, it's clearly entertainment. No one's feelings got hurt.
Right.
Like, nuh-uh, we know what we're doing. This is professional reality television, quote, quote, reality.
Right.
Not like all these other shows.
Right.
Like either that or like what is it? Like the Survivor based ones, like Survivor, of course, but like Naked and Afraid or whatever. Even those shows have like these people are coming on with strategy.
Yeah, and some of them, actually, two of them that I follow that have been on the Survivor series, like Naked and Afraid, they've been on a few others. They continue their careers. They've got wonderful investments. They are doing amazing with what that came out of that show, including some amazing things.
Meanwhile, I'm just wondering on like Biggest Loser, how many people do you have to kill?
Right.
Like no one keeps the weight off.
Right.
Like literally almost no one keeps the weight off.
Right.
Typically they end up gaining back more than what they lost.
Right.
And generally speaking, the yo-yo and the crap you've done to them through the show, in addition to all the emotional damage you caused your contestants, plus you put this on television and you know flipping kids are watching this.
Mm-hmm.
And effectively they're like, you're demonstrating a really, like, you're continuing the trope of the idea
Mm-hmm.
that sudden rapid weight loss is a good idea.
Right.
It is not. Like, and moreover, that taking, like, you don't ease anyone into this.
Right.
Like, that you are setting people up to do physical damage.
Right.
Like, there's so many things wrong with that show.
Right.
It makes me mad every time I watch it. It just...
Well, I think that's the problem, because they don't teach them real strategy. They don't teach them life changes.
No. Well, and they don't have... Basically, it's the problem with reality television. They've got to make their drama somewhere. Like, you cannot... One, networks don't want to pay for, like, 12-year, like, shows.
Right.
That watch this unfold as it should.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, if you're 400, 500 pounds, no, you do not get to be 180. Like, that may be your realistic, like, 20-year goal, but that's not your, like, you're not trying to get there by the end of the show.
Right.
Not in a season
Mm-hmm.
of a show. No. You've got to be eased into that.
Right.
If you are 400, 400 pounds or more,
Mm-hmm.
you have to ease into that. Like, you potentially have cardiac risk. You potentially have risk to your joints and cartilage
Right.
that you need to build into first.
Right.
And then, yeah, you're going to have some massive weight loss at different points,
Mm-hmm.
but not, like, predictably enough to be on air with.
Right. But
Like,
the other point is with that is its life changes. You have to change your strategies. You have to change your thinking. You have to change the way you do things.
Yeah.
You know, what am I on, like 3 years of this? Slowly changing my diet, slowly changing my lifestyle to be better, healthier. Dear gods, if it was a YouTube series, y'all guys would be waiting for a video every 2 months.
Yeah. And then what are you going to talk about? Like, I mean, seriously,
Sure.
like, every 2 months, what are you going to talk about? Like, your 1 pound of weight change that is like you gained X muscle
Mm-hmm.
while simultaneously losing Y amount of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Net difference is you lost a pound.
Right. Well, here's an example. It's like recently I stopped doing the Slim Fast shakes in the morning and switched back over to what was making my stomach feel better, which was coffee. Once in a while, I'll grab a protein-based sandwich. I've also started, I used to do either one of 3 things. I would either do yoga, I would go to the gym, or I would take a rest day. Now, because I've reached a plateau, I'm doing gym and yoga every day without a rest day because I'm having to change my metabolic rate to get closer to the goal because my body's gone into where it thinks this is normal. These are things that they don't show on the show.
No. Not to mention just the sheer emotional damage.
Yeah.
I mean, because seriously, I watch those shows and just cringe and go, you are sowing emotional damage if someone watches this and takes it to heart.
Right.
Like, if they don't get it,
Yeah.
that you are perpetuating a broken dialogue on weight and health,
Mm-hmm.
and they take this to heart, you're
And
creating
lifestyle.
emotional
Like,
damage.
that's the other thing is they are destroying they are not getting that. It's not a diet. You can't do it for 6 weeks of filming and then pick it back up and do whatever the next day.
Yeah. Well, but honestly, a lot of the contestants do. It's all about, like, going on the show, competing, and winning or losing.
Right.
And, like, you get out of it what you get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the after effect
Right.
is like, and that's if we are talking about a contestant who gets it.
Right.
Like, I'm assuming that in the back housing of the show,
Mm-hmm.
at least by this point, there should be one, some medical clearances,
Right.
and two, a lot of medical monitoring, but
Right.
three, and most importantly, a large psychological component
Right.
to help people differentiate between the shit they say on the show and what they actually need to hear.
Right.
At least enough not to create damage
Right.
and have liability.
What's interesting is when looking at it, only 12% of the contestants keep the food off.
Keep the weight off.
Yeah, 12%.
Yeah, that's abysmal.
Right.
Well, and then there's this whole broken dialogue they have
Mm-hmm.
about like attractiveness and weight, and
Right.
it's like, yeah, see, no,
Mm-hmm.
don't. Well, and then they also heavily tie to like self-esteem and self-worth and weight.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, that's how you create like suicidal fat people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right. And, this is what people don't get is, in all honestly, they don't teach them how to deal with stress. They don't teach them the importance of dealing with it. All right. But let's move on over to, our Reddit conversation, because I can go on about this one for hours.
I know, I can too. I can get very angry.
Yes.
So, all right, we're starting with Am I the Asshole?
We're starting with Am I the Asshole?
All right. Am I the asshole for telling my always late friends an earlier time so we'd be on time? So I, 32 female, have been friends with this group of people, 30, 31, 32 female, since high school. I love them all to death, but Jesus Christ, on a cruise ship, when we're planning something, they are always consecutively late. I love that. Jesus Christ on a cruise ship. Every time, and it drives me nuts. One year, they almost made us miss our flight home, and they always say they forgot the time or thought they had more and just goofed around. It has gotten to the point where I will meet them because I refuse to get caught up in the drama. Last year, I left on my own accord to the airport because they were all passed out and would not wake up. They missed checkout and had to pay for an extra day. Then they barely made it to the airport in time for their flights. Apparently, I'm pushy for ensuring we leave at a certain time, considering traffic, possible accidents, delays, and even looking up shortcuts in case. Throughout the years, sharing a ride with them has almost made me late to work before. Lesson learned, so now I take an extra day off just in case. Our vacations themselves are fun and easygoing. So this vacation was pretty smooth up until the end. We all decided to choose a night where we would plan all of the events. Mine was Friday. It was a fairly relaxing day. I scheduled a pedicure for 9:30 a.m. and I told them it was at 8:45. They showed up at 9:15 and were surprised when we got in so quickly. I reserved a table for us for lunch at 1 p.m. I told them it was 12:30. They arrived at 12:52 with the same reaction. That night, I had reserved us a table at this really nice dining establishment for 7:30, and I told them 6:45. They arrived at 7:10. It was a great night. Sunday, when we were going home, I said my goodbyes, checked out of my hotel room, and took my separate Uber to the airport for my 2 p.m. flight home. I got home around 8 and turned on my phone to the equivalent of an assault on my group chat. Apparently, they had left late again, and one of them missed their flight, and they were arguing about it. I told my roomie what was going on and what I did, and she said that was rude of me to manipulate their time like that. She knows one of the girls and told her what I did, and now all of the girls are mad at me. My Friday scheduling had absolutely nothing to do with one missing their flight. Am I the asshole? Fuck no, you are not the asshole.
I'm going to disagree.
Really?
Yes, you are the asshole. They clearly do not respect your time or value your time. You are the asshole to yourself for continuing to have these people in your life. Immediately take out your pink slip folder, file the pink slips in your group chat that blew up your phone and let them know this is not okay. Your time is valuable. It is at a value of your hourly wages. If you're a salary employee, then you take your salary and divide it by 40. Every 15 minutes they are late, that is how much money they are disvaluing you. I bill out at $120 an hour. If a friend is an hour late for an event, then they are wasting $120 of your money. So yes, you are the asshole for continuing to put up with this. No, you're not the asshole for telling them an earlier time.
Yeah, well, and I was sitting here, I was like, okay, I'm waiting to see where this goes. Because I'm like, no, she's not the asshole. And I think either your roommate doesn't understand, like, how bad this has gotten.
No, I think the roommate's probably tired of hearing it and is trying to blow it up for you.
Fair enough. But no, I mean, like, I'm perfectly fine with friends that are, like, consistently 5 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's fine. Like, some people just, like, being on time is not their forte. They're
Right.
always, like, plus 5 minutes. That's fine. Nothing in my life has ever been destroyed in 5 minutes.
Right.
Or if it has, it deserved it.
Right.
But now when we're talking about, like, the level of like, bullshit that she's dealt with over the years,
Mm-hmm.
no, these are people that deserve to be told a totally different time,
Mm-hmm.
so that you have hope
Mm-hmm.
of actually getting to where you
Right.
need to be when you need to be there.
Right.
And, like, I'm sorry, like, it did not hurt them. It didn't hurt them.
Right.
It's not rude.
Right.
You made a great night because you accommodated for the fact that no matter that, like, the time you tell them,
Right.
plus X is when they're going to show up.
Right.
And there's no hope
Right.
that you're going to tell them 7:30 and they're going to be there at 7:30.
Right.
So no, that's perfectly fair. That is perfectly fair.
Right.
Like, and I understand the frustration. I am generally speaking on time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually way early because same mindset. Like, I accommodate for, like, there could be an accident, there could be road construction, there could be this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get there early.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing that happens is, okay, we have to wait like 30 minutes.
Right.
Like, you know,
I can answer emails while I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there, you know, I mean, I could understand if that were the consistent thing that happened. And I have family, I'm sure, aggravated the hell with me. Because I'm almost always running early.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, okay, so we've had to wait on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, but, like, sometimes the consequences of not being there early
Mm-hmm.
are bad enough that it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to fuck with that.
Right. Well, not only that, but, you know, Brenda says this, and this is a tagline that I use for everybody. Everybody that's ever been invited to dinner at my house gets told dinner is at 5.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, what time is dinner?
Not 5.
What is it?
This is closer to, like, 7.
Yes, dinner is at 7 technically, but I would prefer my guests to arrive at 5 so that there's 2 hours for conversation, gelling, getting comfortable, relaxing. There's a lot of work that goes into running a nice dinner party.
And if someone doesn't show up till 7, that's okay.
Exactly.
But if you've told them 7,
Uh-huh.
and then they show up at like 9:30.
Uh-huh. Dinner's done. The dishes
That's
are done, and we've moved on to an on-air show. Have a good day.
Yeah, like, leftovers are in the fridge. Help yourself. Like, I ain't getting up to make you a plate.
Right.
I'm not getting up to make you a plate. Like, you want
Right.
food, you know where the fridge is. Figure it out. You're an adult.
Right.
But no, like, well, I want to add one more little quick thing with this is, like, this came in handy though today.
Oh.
Because I do kind of pre-plan.
Right.
Like, because I had to take my great nephew to a dental appointment today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sit down at my desk this morning, just trying to get my head together, start my day. and I have a message that says, "Hi, the dentist office called. They had a cancellation. They want to try to get him in an hour earlier."
Mm-hmm.
And I went, "Okay." Like, I'll do my best. We got there at like, I don't know, 10 after noon. Like, so technically we were late, but I'm sorry. Like, that's the best I could do at that point. Like, that backed up all my extra.
Right.
Like, I left out 30 minutes early, and that just ate my reserves.
Right.
But I'm sitting here going, if the dentist office is mad at that, most offices I know of are like 15 minutes. You got 15 minutes.
Right.
So I'm sitting here going, I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Because I don't think they understand that because like on paper, it looks really close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the dental office is here and he lives here.
Right.
No one's factoring in that for me to take him to this dental appointment
Mm-hmm.
is a 200-mile round trip.
Right.
Like, it's 100 miles to leave home, pick him up, and get him to the dentist office. And then it's 100 miles to reverse that.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like, were we late? Yes. Was I mad about that? Nope. You bumped me.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you're just lucky my reserves got us there when it did.
Right.
I do what I can. Sorry, Brenda said nice, uncle. Like, yeah. Like, I mean, I do what I can. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Bless
All
his
right. Let's move on to relationship advice.
alrighty. And pulling that one up. All right, so my wife has changed me for the worse. My wife, female 35, and I, male 36, have been married for 5 years. She recently went on a weekend trip with a girlfriend. I was alone for the longest time since we started dating, and I began remembering who and how I used to be. I felt well rested, I ate enough food, I got so much done, and felt so confident. My general mental state was so much calmer, and life was easier in just 60 hours without her. There is nothing she does that I can identify that causes me to become depressed, and she really is a loving companion. But the stark difference of being with and without her is alarming. I married with the intent of starting a family and knew she would be a great mother and caring companion, but we found out she cannot have kids. I have become really worried that life with her will spiral into deeper depression for me and an unhappy and resentful partner for her. I don't know how to talk to her about it without deeply hurting her. I hadn't realized how depressed this marriage has made me until this trip.
Right.
How? How? Ooh, okay, take it away.
Here's the problem. I don't have enough full information. But here are some thoughts on this. One, you're not getting enough time alone. Two, I noticed you didn't mention love. You didn't mention love. You didn't mention desire. You didn't mention wanting. You did not mention a desire to have her around or even missing her. All you stated was her breedability.
Well, not just that, but it was also just like, it sounds like you settled.
Yeah.
Like, you went to the wife store and went, good enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So, here's my thoughts. What do? You contact your lawyer immediately and correct your problem.
Yeah.
Point blank. That's the hard advice. This occurs in relationships when you negotiate things out. Okay. And figure out exactly why you are not taking care of yourself. Also, it sounds like your relationship is very codependent, and you're probably the giver of the codependency.
I could follow that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Other things that's pointed on this Reddit, and I don't know. I'm not sure one way or another. Is that having space and separate space and having clear divisions of space can be very useful. Um, while I enjoyed when we shared an office together, I'm quite glad to have our own spaces here. Because there has been debate of us losing a living room for a shared office space, but we keep a different office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a whole lot of issues with that. Like, it would be functional in a sense. Like, it would be a purely practical decision to do it on one hand, but then I think we would come to regret it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of like some things sound great on paper, like we'll use this amount of square footage for a shared office space, and then we don't have, and then we can do this, and we can do that, and we can do this other thing. And it sounds great, and it makes sense, it's practical, but then you actually do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
Well, not only that, but I don't know if I can deal with what I used to walk into every Friday, every day of my life.
What?
Okay. So every Friday, I would go to my Princeton house, and I would have left my Princeton desk, clear it off, barely anything on it, everything laid out so that the things that come with me in my bag can go back on their place on my desk in my office in Princeton that I shared with Jeff. Every Friday, without fail, I walked through the door with my briefcase in hand, set my bag down, and then began unpiling my desk.
It is one of those things. Like, I've never gotten I clean my desk because I have to, because it does, like, I hit my Susan Powter stop the insanity moment. I really do. But in a general course, like, I've never been a clean office person.
Right.
Like, I really haven't. Like, I think there's a certain degree of mess. Like, I have a limit. Like, I never want to be the college professor whose office I walked into, and, like, I just stopped breathing for a second because my brain couldn't process. Because it was just this mound of paper that started at, like, the ceiling and just cascaded down across a desk and a filing cabinet, and who all knows what. Like, there could have been a body buried.
Right.
And you just had to take it all in mentally. That this poor dude is sitting here in what looks like a cave of paper.
Right.
And I just, like, I couldn't, like, my brain had to process it, and I, like, stopped, like, involuntary bodily function.
Right.
In order to process it.
Right.
Because it was overwhelmingly.
Right.
Oh my God, how do you ever? How are you, like, so many questions. So many questions. Great professor, loved him dearly, but, and I mean that sincerely, like, he drove me up a wall, but he was a really great professor.
Right.
But, like, his office was frightening.
Right.
But I've never been one of those people that, like, it's all going to be in filing cabinets, labeled perfectly, happily, moving right along, like, clean desk every day, like, nothing else on it but what, the perfectly, like, situated everything. No, my desk just got cleaned. That's what happens there.
Right.
I try to maintain it, and then shit happens, and then I don't care for a little bit. And then it gets cleaned up later.
Yeah. But this also sounds like, and, if we look at, they've been together, they've been married for 5 years. So we go 2021, 2020, and so they've had 2 years of containment.
Yeah.
And that can be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Smothering.
Well, in the 5 years, they were 30 and 31 when they met.
Yeah.
And that's a telling age for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually when people are single at the beginning of their 30s, they start panicking.
Right.
Like, I don't care what gender you are, you start hearing biological alarm clocks going off.
Right.
Like, now's when I have to get my shit together or I'm going to be too old for this shit.
Right.
And it's a horrible time for anyone to really be trying to choose.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Catherine, we're going to have to delete that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, ask. Like, it's a thing. You could ask if you could have shared that.
Right.
But you didn't. So, bye-bye, Catherine. And I hate that because I love that name.
Yeah.
Like, I hate saying bad things towards someone named Catherine.
Right.
But no, like, those are telling ages for me.
Right.
Is because I think it goes to further support the idea you settled. You both settled.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you're bad people.
Right.
Like, I have a feeling like neither one of you are bad people, and this is why you're having trouble putting your finger on it.
Yeah.
Like, she's not crazy. You're not, a total narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all just don't work together. Like,
Right.
and you're sitting here like death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Right.
Just one little tiny thing that is inconsequential in the long term.
Right.
After another.
Right.
But it builds and it creates stress and you deal with it and it becomes Tuesday.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you get a weekend alone and it's like, oh, I don't have to suck my gut in. I don't have to, pretend that I like something that I don't. Like,
Right.
I don't have to pretend to listen to another conversation that I don't really want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all have friends like that. You know what I mean? Like, does
Right.
anyone else... Like, I have friends I dearly love, and I love when they come over, but when they leave,
Mm-hmm.
it is like the air comes back into the room. And I have this brief moment every time of why the fuck did I do this to myself again?
Mm-hmm.
I love them. I care about them. I think they're great. And I truly want to be friends with them. But God help me if we were in a relationship, I'd lose my flipping mind because every time, like, we spend an extended period of time in a room together,
Mm-hmm.
I have building anxiety and,
Right.
and discomfort.
Right.
And it's like, okay, it's time for you to go home now.
Yeah.
It's like, please don't have any car trouble.
Right.
Like, now is not the moment.
Right.
Like, thank you for coming. Thank you for going.
Well, and again, that's the levels of interactions and the things there. But no, when it comes to relationships, you cannot live isolineal paired lives. It is a partnership, not an isolineal pairing of brains and life. Hell, most of the time, the three of us do not have the same dinner, much less the same schedule.
Well, we definitely don't have the same lunch.
We never have the same lunch.
Never. Dinner at least 2 out of 3.
No.
Like, well, generally speaking, like
The invisible assistant has a pizza.
right.
You have a normal meal. I have a low carb version of that normal meal.
And technically, his version of a low carb is he put all the extra carbs on my plate.
You're the one that continues to enjoy things like macaroni and
Like, and here's my thing, because this is like talking about going full circle, because I actually had this comment pop in my head earlier. Is like, for me, it would be really easy for someone to look at me and go, wow, you just like really gave up on yourself, or wow, like, whatever body negative statement you want to make about me, that, like, that's fine, go for it, enjoy yourself. If that's what you need to feel value and self-worth in yourself, you do that and you enjoy it. I also know that, like, I've gone through the struggle of, like, having to learn that I ate to cope with, like, different feelings that I had because I didn't have anything else. Like,
Right.
I ate to fill an emotional void.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so like when mom died, like I was up to 420 pounds really quickly
Mm-hmm.
because that was a huge emotional void that I had to fill. I'm not that weight.
No.
I'm also skinnier than when I graduated college. Thank you very much. Or excuse me, I'm skinnier than when I graduated high school.
Right.
Like clothing, because I still own a t-shirt.
Right.
And I love that t-shirt and I wear it and it reminds me that I'm nowhere near as big as I was when I graduated high school because I remember how that t-shirt felt then.
Right.
Because it was the biggest one they had.
Right.
And it was form-fitting. Let's
Right.
call it that. I also know that like the choices I make
Right.
differently now.
Right.
And it's like, no, I've gotten a lot healthier. I am healthy. Like my doctor's not even bitchy about my weight because like this is the one of the few doctors that's actually stopped, paid attention, and looked at my numbers and been like, yeah, you're basically healthy.
Right.
You're just bigger, but you're healthy.
Right.
Like I don't have a heart attack risk.
And here's the other thing.
Yeah.
What has always been our commentary on weight?
Well, I know what I always tell you, which is, are you happy?
Right. And what have I always told you?
That you want to look pretty?
No, about you.
Are you happy?
Are you happy? Are you comfortable? Are you getting everything you need?
Mm-hmm.
And if those are yeses, then it's none of my damn business.
Well, yeah. Like, and like, no, sorry, I'm happy in the body I'm in.
Great, because I find it highly attractive, and a lot of people find it highly attractive. Now we just got to get you to find it highly attractive.
Well, no, well, but see, that's a lot more about like the negative messaging that we get.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we get programmed with this shit starting in early childhood.
Right.
And like, it takes a toll.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily I feel unattractive or uncomfortable. I feel like
Mhm.
other people see me and go, who turned loose the blob?
You ain't even close to the blob, okay?
I know. But like
See,
these are
Brenda
things.
agrees. Brenda agrees here. We will feature that. Joe is adorable.
But these are things that burrow into your mind
Mhm.
when like you have this constant feedback of people telling you you're too big, you weigh too much, you are ugly, you are unattractive. No one's ever going to find you attractive. You're not going to get married and have kids. Things I've literally been told, and I'm like, well, on that one,
Well,
that
let's
might
look
be-
at the facts compared it's to the embedded statements, and
Yeah.
then I want to know who I need to send invoices to. You'll never get married and have children. You are married, mostly,
well, mostly.
and you have 5 children, 2 of which you want to eat, or kill.
Kill maybe. Like not.
You
not
did
really.
name one of our children 110.
Which is the Chinese food for dinner, and it's a cat. And it's a really inappropriate joke, but I find it hilarious. And
I find it hilarious too. So you have 5 children, you have a partner that loves you and is very attracted to you and has made that very clear in multiple ways. So those statements are crap.
Well, but still, what my whole point being, and this is like, hi, Kylie, are you still here? This is what it looks like. My whole point though is that these things burrow in,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's not that I look in the mirror and go, God, I'm unattractive. I'm like, no, I'm fine with myself. But then I have this moment that because of the crap
Mm-hmm.
stream
Mm-hmm.
of shit that people have told me over many decades at this point.
Mm-hmm. So there's some
Like-
past due invoices. Got it. I will call the
lots
collection
of them.
agency.
Lots of them. But because of that,
Mm-hmm.
even though I look in the mirror and I'm fine with me,
Mm-hmm.
or I look at the scale and I'm fine with me, or I go clothing shopping and I'm fine with me,
Mm-hmm.
I still have this other part of my brain
Mm-hmm.
that goes, yeah, but.
All right. Well, I'm going to say this and pay attention. Get out your pen and notebook and write this. People do not deserve to live rent free in your head.
No.
If they are living in your head, then you must send them an invoice for rent. That is valuable space. You technically only have the ability to store 10,000 thoughts.
Well, see, at this point in my life, I've gotten it over to there's a free protest area.
Uh-huh.
Like there's a free speech zone, I let them be there, but it's like y'all are crowded in a corner, okay?
Uh-huh.
Like
I do, Brenda. I have them in various sizes so we can make sure they fit properly.
we don't have enough freezer space for this many.
I don't need freezer space, honey. I have vinegar. I have lemons. I have nice sour jars. And believe me, here lately, I'm happy to shake jars up. I have enough energy to sit there and do yoga exercises with them. Anyhow, um, we're working on developing the pictorial area. For those that do not understand what I was just saying, but that's what I think people should start doing is sending invoices.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
But really, like, I have to say, my life has had an interesting course
Mm-hmm.
because of the number of people I've watched over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I take a certain amount of joy and satisfaction
All right.
in people that had very unkind words for me years ago, seeing
Right.
them now,
Right.
and time has not been kind.
Right.
I don't mean I take exceeding joy and relishment in like the fact that time was cruel to them.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Right.
But I do have to say there's a certain amount of,
Mm-hmm.
right now I'm going to choose to be kind.
Right.
You didn't. You didn't care when you said the things to me that you said to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope you understand and think of those every time you see me.
Mm-hmm.
And also appreciate the fact
Right.
that I have every opportunity right now to be unkind.
Right.
And yet, I'm choosing kindness
Mm-hmm.
and to not say the things that will send you crying because you don't have enough experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could emotionally shut you down entirely,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm being kind and I'm not going to say those things because I understand the damage that it causes and the pain and hurt that will follow.
Right.
So, what is the line? I hope it gives you hell.
Exactly. Or I hope you get what you wish for.
There you go.
So on that note, we do have a moment of thank you, gratitude, and celebration.
Ooh. What we got?
That's our favorite part of the show.
Oh, we do.
Well, speaking about invoices.
Yes. All right, let me get over there so I can catch up. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Guest, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Dottie the Psychic, Tracy Van, the Laughing Tree Grove, and we also have one new Patreon subscriber. Thank you so much, Donna Wyatt.
Yes.
So we do want to thank them for their support. And if you'd like to learn more about us, the show, and how you too can become one of our Patreon sponsors and receive all the wonderful benefits that our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
And also, thanks, Donna. You actually helped us break even on the show.
Woo! Like, I know that's a long list of names, and can I just say, like, yeah, the expenses on these shows, like, just for the software,
Yeah.
it's a chunk. It's a chunk.
Yeah.
It's a chunk.
Mm-hmm.
It's chunk.
Yep. So, other goals for the show is we would like to be able to get better mics, better cameras. That is all going to be coming from Patreon as we're able to do it. That's what we actually use our Patreon for. They do get some wonderful deals. They get discounts on readings. They get free information. They get content that nobody else gets. And they get content early. All right, guys. You guys have a wonderful evening. Join me back again at Coffee and Tea on Thursday night at 8 p.m. And Joe will be back in the hot seat on Friday with Mountain Bears. We'll be bringing you the latest LGBT news with a little bit of sass. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Stacked. You can whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop.